TaylorMade P770 has been one of the most revolutionary and best performing golf irons ever released. What if I told you you could get a full set of these clubs from wish.com for just £399? You may think this is too good to be true, and when you see these clubs, you may agree that this was too good to be true. I'm not sure things are quite legitimate here. Let's get out there, let's test these golf clubs. I have a set of real P770s and these, and like I said, quite an interesting shaft upgrade to go in these for no upcharge. Let's go find out. See just how good or bad potentially these TaylorMade P770 irons really are. So I have a real set and I have the set that I'm not too sure about. We've actually just played a few holes with these clubs. You know what though? Tell you what, is it the club? That would snap, you know. I'm going to put some loft on it. You called it, didn't you? To see what they're all about, to see how good potentially they are, how bad potentially they are. So that's going to be on the channel soon. It's an epic match play video, so make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see that. But first things first, I've had these in the pro shop and we've had a look at the swing weight, we've had a look at the shaft diameter, we've had a look at lots of different factors of these clubs. Very, very interesting results. They didn't match up at all. Like, swing weight obviously is a very, very crucial part of what golf clubs you're going to use, and depending on the shaft material and the head weight, the swing weight should always be fairly consistent. These were 9 swing weights out. That's quite a lot. So let's test them out in the golf course. We're also going to jump on the Golf Zone simulator and test these clubs to see just how good or bad they might well be. I think aesthetics wise, I mean, you look, they're starting to mark up already there on the 770 bit. These are obviously the slightly newer ones, but very, very similar in design. You can sort of tell that's a much thicker sole, isn't it? The sole should be exactly the same on these two clubs, and they are very, very, very different. And you can see the tungsten weighting element there. They're all over the place. Like, some of them are there, some are towards the toe, some towards the heel, and then the through slot speed pockets are kind of different shape as well. So I'd be very, very wary here straight away. I think when you are buying TaylorMade golf clubs, you're buying quality, you're buying something that's going to be consistent, and you know you're going to get that. With these, I don't know. These shafts would cost you £160 each for an upcharge. That was kind of a first real giveaway when buying these clubs. They didn't charge an upcharge for these shafts. These are supposed to be graphite design iron shafts. And if you look at the pitching wedge shaft, now I I've struck that really well, but I can't tell you how that could snap. Feel that? Oh, that one. Look at that.
It's got a bit of give in it.
A little bit of give. That would snap, you know. I don't want it shattering my face.
Just not that one.
You called it, didn't you?
That's what I did not want to do.
The shaft was here and the head was there. That's where, if this is a shot you would play.
And you've spent your hard-earned cash.
Yeah, because let's be fair, times are hard at the minute, aren't they? And if you're going to spend £400, you're going to feel a bit silly, aren't you, if they're not. You can do it eventually. That kind of caught us out on the match, and the different shafts, obviously, if they're not consistent, are going to be very difficult to perform. We're 165 yards out here on the 16th hole at Woolley Park Golf Club. Let's hit a couple of balls. Straight away, looking down at this club, it doesn't look like a TaylorMade iron. We were discussing this in the match, and I'm really glad I've been to play a few holes actually already with these clubs, because it sort of gives you a feeling of what you are buying. These look like the set of clubs I got off Amazon from Ram. Now, that's not saying that Ram clubs look bad, but the Ram clubs are £150 a set. Real TaylorMade clubs are over £1,000 a set, aren't they? Who's to blame here? Is it the brands? Is it the people copying these clubs? Are the brands just charging too much money? I'm not so sure, but if these perform okay for $399, would you buy them? That's a pretty nice fade in to start with. If that's up there, which it is, that's a pretty good shot. I'm going to take that all day, Chris, to be fair. That was not my best strike either, so that's done the job with the first one. Oh dear, that felt. Now, I've been working on my game. My game isn't always going to be perfect, but But if you watch my video and you watch my reviews, you never really see shots like that. You never see the shots that don't get off the ground. I'm a PGA Pro by trade, so I generally can hit a 7-iron off the ground. Not a great start for them. But if we hit a couple of bad shots with these real versions, maybe it is me, maybe it's not the clubs. Like looking down at this now, this looks a lot better. It looks a lot more compact. You can obviously tell that it's had a little bit more money spending on it in R&D. And it's interesting because grip-wise, I feel like the grip is the only real thing that potentially does feel quite legitimate about these clubs, even though grips are fairly easy to forge. Now, it comes with a TaylorMade 360 Tour Velvet Golf Pride on there. I've never actually seen one of these grips in real life, but maybe it feels a little bit thin. Potentially, I don't think the grip is a terrible quality, but maybe seeing how long that would last would be the real eye-opener when buying these golf clubs. Same goes with the head really, because I don't know how long that's going to last either if you keep hitting loads of balls with it. Obviously we're using the same balls to make sure it's a nice fair test here, and it feels nice and heavy. Straight away there, not a great strike, but better. It's still airborne, it's still going to be up on the green, and that one's just rolling across towards the left-hand side. So taking that for a bad shot all day, let's see if we can hit one nice and close with this 7-iron. There we go. That's the shot that you're paying the money for, and that should be nice and close now. That one's landed just left of the flag and taken the slope nicely, which I'm hoping to do. So a good shot and a bad shot with both there. I think it's fair to say the bad shots differed quite a lot. Let's go and see where the good shots finished, and then let's have another discussion about money and if something's potentially too good to be true. So a quick thing to mention, guys, obviously these are both stiff shafts, so I did opt for the graphite in the wish.com club because, to be honest, I thought, well, if it's too good to be true, I might as well go full bore and see if it really is too good to be true. And stiff graphite shafts often perform just as well, if not better, than steel stiff shafts, so that's why I've gone for them. We're huge advocates here on the channel and over on Get Good at Golf about potentially having graphite shafts in irons to help you get more consistency, especially now graphite is coming on leaps and bounds. Whether or not these have come on leaps and bounds, I ain't so sure. So, very interesting results here. We have the bad one with the fake club. That's not even, to be honest, it's not even reached the bunker, which I'm quite astonished about. And the good one has only just made it over the bunker. That's probably more interesting than the bad one, to be honest, because I ripped that and I thought it was really good. You can see we're on the perfect level here with the real clubs twice, and you can see just how kind of, really, it's a lot more consistent, isn't it? That's generally what you're paying for, I find. And again, when we use these clubs in the match, I almost struggle to hit the shots I wanted to hit. You can see here I've managed to hit the shots okay, but that's like 2 clubs short, and that isn't ideal. And so in the studio, we're going to test these irons for distance, for consistency, for spin rate, ball speed, and everything you want to know. But the big thing is that consistency, that front to back dispersion, that side to side dispersion. We'll kick things off with the 9 irons. We also have the long irons that we're going to test, and we'll go real product first. So the real 770, will the real 770 please stand up? Right, come on, around 140 I think for this. We're not going to try and hit them too hard. Nice strike to start with, tiny bit left. I would anticipate a kind of mid to low spin with these irons. That's pitched 143, so pretty much calling what I would anticipate these clubs to do, and that's what you can do with a set of premium quality clubs. So let's keep going, we'll hit a couple. That was much better, that wasn't pulley at all, that was a great strike. A little bit shorter, maybe that 135, 140, 139. We've got spin rates at 7,500, really, really happy with that. You can see the consistency levels that I'm speaking about here. You know how these TaylorMade clubs are going to perform for you, and they look really good down at the ball. Carbon copy of the first one, that'll be around a 145. A little bit of a pull spin would have dropped off it. 145.25 carry. Spinning at 7.3 again, so getting some really, really good consistent spin rate numbers here. Let's now look at this bad boy. So we've seen them already on the course. We don't need to kind of comment on them too much, do we? Are these going to go further? Are they going to be as consistent? Not gonna lie, that felt really, really good actually. That's the straighter one of the lot. and that's 140 on the nose, running up to 145. So can't complain with that initially. 7/4 spin, head speed the same, ball speed the same. What if we strike it differently? Interestingly, that's the first one that's gone right. I very rarely miss my short irons right. That one's lacking a little bit, 134. That's the shortest one so far. Spinning at 8.3, so spin rates are quite good. I felt like the shafts let the club down more than anything there. And like I said, the reason why we have chosen these shafts is because if you weren't paying an upgrade, then why on earth wouldn't you choose a shaft that would be potentially very, very expensive? Right, another 9 iron. They actually feel better in here than they do out on the course. And that felt absolutely gorgeous, you know. I don't really care. I don't want them to feel bad. I don't want them not to feel bad. 141 carry, 7,300 spin. That's a lot closer than what I anticipated. Let's get back out on the golf course. Let's see just how the rest of these irons do compare out there where it counts. That is really, really interesting. How far has that one gone? That's carried 152, that's carried 10 yards further, 7,100 spin. You may think that's a good thing. That front to back dispersion, consistency, that's what we're talking about. Moving on from the mid irons to the long irons, I actually have in this wish.com set, we'll call it. I want to stay away from kind of descriptive words too much about these clubs, but I have a 4 iron in here, so this could be the club that potentially you're going to use off the tee quite a lot. Now, we have tested this club quite heavily already today. Great strike.
It felt good.
Oh, that felt awful. You know what though? And we found it okay, to be honest. I struck it really well, Chris struck it really well, and it worked pretty well. I think that might be something to do with, I think this shaft might be not better quality, but just in the inconsistency of the set, maybe this one suits us more because the club did feel better. You can sort of see how quality-wise it's a little bit shoddy already. These are brand new out of the wrapper, by the way. They did come heavily wrapped up. They came with iron head covers on them, actually, so you can't say that they've come just kind of boxed up and they've clinked around in the bag. I think it is more the quality of what's going in here that's the issue. So let's look at the 5 irons here. Because that plug, I think the 4 iron plugged there. But looking at the 5 irons, you can see again, it's just a different head size altogether. You can actually see where they've tried to put the T-bug on there and it's burned into the, you see that burn mark there? Yeah. So that's not ideal. We'll take the wrapper off. So that's fresh out the wrapper, that one now. You've seen that. What do you reckon? Yeah, that's pretty much what we're going with that. Look at that. Very, very interesting. But I'll go real first this time. We're about 170, 175 yards out here, which is perfect into a tiny bit of breeze. Try and play a little draw into that flag, which should be about the right shot. Oh, look at that. That is all over it. Be the club. And again, that's sort of what you're paying for with these clubs. A really, really nice shot. Beautiful turf interaction. And the key with this now, and I feel strange saying this, but the key what I'm trying to do is to be consistent. So if I can create the same swing again, I would hopefully get the same ball flight again. I'm using the same golf balls, we're from the same location, and these golf clubs should react the same every time. So we're ticking all those boxes. Let's go again. TaylorMade P775 iron. Really, really nice golf club. Exactly the same ball flight, exactly the same divot, exactly the same shot. So we know that that's working. We know that they were both all over the flag, to be honest. So now we're going to this bad boy. And the leading edge straight away is totally different. The leading edge is more rounded, and you can tell that just by looking at it. Even someone who doesn't spend a lot of time reviewing golf clubs like I do would probably tell that as well. And once again, for me, looking at the quality of this 5 iron, it doesn't look quite there as to what you would expect from a TaylorMade iron. You can see the letters of the tungsten, that's etched on totally differently to how it would be normally. That forged logo in looks a little bit too thin to be genuine. And actually the hosel is totally different to what I've ever seen on a TaylorMade product as well. We get round to the face and you can sort of see that's a totally different material as to what you would expect from a TaylorMade club face. So all in all, with that really rounded leading edge, I'm not so sure about this club. Try and hit one in here. We'll go same shot. I mean, in fairness, Chris, how well's that come out? I've absolutely nuked that one, and that one was all over the flag as well. A little bit of a lower ball flight, if I'm being picky. I don't mind that. Like, if you're into the wind and you can control the ball flight, that's obviously a good thing. Can we hit the same shot again, you ask? Come on. It looks so different, it really, really does. Now, I felt like I cut across that a little bit, but not to the point where it's missed the green by 30, 40 yards. And again, you might think that I'm putting that on. Honestly, I'm not. I couldn't really care less which iron performs best here, but that didn't work. Look at how the tungsten's etched in there. It's like they've singed it a little bit. Like if you look at the tungsten on here, that's like black, isn't it? And that's like singed in. A couple of different differences as well. So let's go there and see where they are. Also guys, let's now jump in the studio and let's see how these irons perform inside for numbers, because this could be why you're all here and could get very interesting. Are these going to be as consistent as the 9-iron was? Very, very impressive, that 9-iron, to be honest. And like I said, this is a very impartial review. You might be buying these clubs, you may not be. I can't believe you can buy these clubs off like a website that advertises themselves on like football clubs' arms and stuff. It's amazing, really, because you can't. Is it legal? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But we'll go standard 775 iron to start with. Should be around a 200 club, maybe a 190 today. With a strike like that, you'd think maybe just over 200, because I've absolutely ripped that. Tiny bit to the left again, which is my miss-hit. 190 carry, 198 total. And you can see 5-4 spin there, so really, really good spin numbers. And this is where I can kind of tell what shots I'm going to get with these already, and that's really what you're paying for. Oh, that's a really awful towy one as well. Be interested to see just how forgiving that is, because I've hit that really badly. 185 running up to 194. You can see my bad shot is to the left. So a really good review of this. I'm really pleased that I'm not maybe swinging like frozen rope today, like sometimes, very rarely it is in here in the studio. I ripped that. That felt so good. They really do feel good, these 770s, when you do get them. And that's the one I want, the 195 carry, 203 total, spinning at 5.3, really, really good. Good numbers. Like for a miss hit, you're going to lose a bit, that's fine. You anticipate that. 5-iron in the wish.com clubs. 195 longest to beat. They're averaging around 190. Looks totally different down at the ball. That shaft felt really whippy. Really whippy. That's a much weaker flight. Still got 189 carry and running up to 200 and 5.2 spin. So quite amazing. Even though they don't maybe feel that good, performance-wise, they're not that bad. I mean, distance-wise anyway, not directionally. It feels like a training aid. The shaft feels like a training aid. So if you get that right, it's 189 again. It's really consistent, that. If you get it right, it feels like you're unloading loads of power down there, but I'm also worried that the head's going to fly off and break my really expensive screen. So we'll make this the last one. I don't think these would last that long. That's the one thing I'll say. I've played quite a lot of golf with them, but I don't think that's going to go miles, that, because it's really released it quickly. But I don't think the QC is not going to be there. 196 total, it's 207, it's 4.2 spin. Consistency-wise, I'm not sure for these, and I'm also not sure on the quality the more and more I hit them. Guys, let's get back on the golf course and let's have a total recap of these P770 Wish.com specials. So guys, interestingly, you've seen the bad shot, the final shot with the Wish.com club. That was the other Wish.com club. Yeah, not ideal. Probably not returning the same dynamic loft due to the shaft flex and things like that. We can obviously see more about that with the numbers that you've just seen. They're the real ones. Now them, to be honest, are great 5-irons for me. And it's got me wondering whether I should be using the P770 irons anyway. Guys, I hope that's been a bit of an insight into how careful you should be when you're buying golf clubs online. I personally would recommend away from it now, having seen this, because although they seem cheap, that's £400 wasted on my part. Guys, thanks for watching. Smash that subscribe button. I look forward to seeing you all at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.